All right, guys, we're back for another one. Back for round 3 showdown for the PGA Championship. Sorry I didn't do a show last night. I wasn't really feeling like playing. If I don't feel like playing, I'm not going to go through the time of putting on one of these productions. So we didn't have one, but we're going to get back at it. I promise you I'll always do a round 3 or 4, no matter where I'm at. I mean, I'm going to Tulsa tomorrow, and I'm taking, well, most of my equipment with me so that I can go ahead and still do a round 4 showdown for you guys tomorrow night. So please tune into that because it's a pain in the ass to take all this stuff with me when I just want to go chill at my Airbnb. And I was going to record live from the DraftKings tent. They sent me some VIP tickets, so I'll be right there on the 16th green and the DK tent. But, you know, by the time that we need to get out of there, there wouldn't be time to record it, so I'll probably just do it back at my Airbnb, even though we'll lose that cool ambiance. So I apologize about that. If you're new to the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, subscribe, because I got to get to 1,000 subscribers by the Open Championship. I got, you know, if you watch this channel at all, you'll know I've got a nice wager going with a couple buddies that I can't get there, and they're already trying to buy out of the deal, and I told them no soup for you, my friend. So, because I'm pretty confident we're going to get there. It just keeps growing like 50 to 100 subscribers every time I put out a video. So I'll just keep putting them out, try to help you guys get a little bit better at Showdown, continue, you know, hopefully I can keep riding the heater at Showdown myself, and we'll see if we can get to 1,000 sooner than later. All right, so you see, we're gonna get going. As you can see, the cut's gonna be +4. It's 7:08 here in Oklahoma right now, where the tournament's at and where I'm at. I'm actually doing this show before the cut line's even officially set yet, so I don't even know the tee times and stuff for tomorrow. It wouldn't surprise me if they put them off in 3s off of 1 and 10, because we'll talk about here in a minute, there is some potential thunderstorms in the forecast tomorrow, and if they, you know, risk just putting them off in pairs off of number 1, it could end up making Sunday a really big squeeze. So I think we'll probably see them go off in 3s tomorrow, but I don't even know who's actually going to make the cut. As you can see when I'm looking here, you've still got guys like Brian Harmon right there, right on the number with 2 holes to go. I saw Munoz. Where did he go? Of course he made a birdie. So now Munoz is going to make the cut because, you know, every donkey chalk got there this week. And so, you know, it looks like the cut is definitely going to be +4. It's been pretty much set at +4 all day. Once again, the afternoon wave, it ended up being like a full shot each day. So if you played that full AM PM stack, you end up getting 2 full shots difference. And, you know, I'm a big wind weather guy. And if you're not playing those in week long, the weather stacks, you're just lighting your money on fire. You might say, oh, it's 2 strokes. Think about 2 strokes. What is 2 strokes? 2 strokes is like 2 full birdies, right? So that's 2 full birdies. What are birdies? Like 3.5 points, and you're getting 2 extra of those. So you're getting 7 points. Plus, you're probably getting another 10 to 15 position points there also. So now 10 to 15 position spots. So another 2 or 3 points in position points. So let's say you have on average 9 extra points per player, and some guy played 3 from this wave and 3 from this wave, and you played all 6 of your wave. You have 27 points more than him in theory just by Friday. Do yourself a favor and go look at what 27 more points on your best lineup would have you right now. You got to play the wind and weather advantages when it's there. This week, I have 40 players, and I believe I did 32 of them from the AM/PM wave. As I told you, there would be a wind difference. I didn't think it was significant enough to go all in on, but I went about 80% on it, I would say. So that's what's going on there. You know, I got to just talk about cut sweats, show you how I'm doing in week long, let you know, how things really go whenever you're playing 300 lineups a week. Plus, I just love cut sweats, and trust me, they're no sponsor of the show. I just enjoy their shit. They even added this new little impact meter over here, so you can see like which player is going to impact your lineups when they miss the cut the most. It's a cool little feature. So you can see my guys here. I actually have some really great picks. I feel like everybody's probably pretty happy with their lineups right now because what's the 6 of 6 rate? Consistently over 20% in all contests. Let's see, what am I? I got 22% in the Millie Maker, 27% in the $5, and one of my 307s for Fantasy Golf World Championship has a 6 of 6, but it's not a real great lineup. So, you know, we're kind of live in that. And the reason I'm kind of live is I did a really good job calling that short hitters were going to be able to play here. So, so many of my guys that are in a lot of my 6 of 6 lineups, really have, let's see, current scores. You can see like my best player, obviously I played Thomas and Smith were the only two guys I played up top. So they're in almost all my lineups, some combination of them, but I have some that just nobody's on. Stuart Sink, if he gets hot this weekend, which Stewie Sink can get hot for an old guy, we'll be very live because I think he's legit like 0.5%, and I have him in 14 different 6 of 6s. That's what I talk about. If you're going to play one of those, random slap dicks and hope that they hit, don't just have him in 1 or 2 lineups. Have it where you have multiple chances to score with him. So if Stewie Sink or Abraham Answer, I think is only 3% owned, I have him in 15 lineups. If one of those guys go off this weekend, I'll have a lot of bullets and a chance to maybe move up that millionaire, the Millie Maker leaderboard. Let's see, but that's only if the chalk fails. If Willie Z keeps killing it and, Rory bounces back, I'm going to be toast anyways. I've faded the chalk this week. It doesn't always work. That's how I play. I play aggressive. You should know that by now. We're going to do the same thing at Showdown, at least if you're following my strategies. All right, tomorrow. This is important stuff. It looks like there is some potential bad weather going on tomorrow. As you see in the morning, it looks like they'll get off fine with just showers, but there could be some scattered thunderstorms that could delay play for a good hour, 2-3 hours. Now, at the max, it only reaches about 50% of one of these to hit, but that is significant enough to consider. And this is why I think they'll put them off in 3s tomorrow, is with the potential of a weather delay. If they're just putting them off in 2s off the first tee, there's no way they'll get done tomorrow with any type of delay. So even though I'm just speculating, because it's just past 7 o'clock here and they're still out on the course, I would expect them to go off on 3s on from both tees. Which kind of stinks because I had a really good strategy heading into tomorrow. When you go look at the wind tomorrow, to me, it seemed very, very slanted towards the guys going out in the morning. You can see they have the constant winds were much lower and they picked up in the afternoon. And if you've just been watching, you'll notice that in the mornings, the greens are much more receptive than they've been in the afternoons. So I was saying we should target those guys going out early. But now with this potential weather, and this is on you, I'm not going to do an update on this. I'm just telling you to watch out for this. If they go out in 2s, I would highly encourage you to play guys who go off as early as possible. They're going to be out there in the light rain, and it's not going to be that cold rain. It's going to still be in the 60s. It's actually going to be the warmest part of the day when it's raining. So it's not going to be that cold freezing rain they had to play in a couple weeks ago. You're going to have a super soft course. And I think that those guys are going to be out there attacking and going after it. If they go off in 3s, as we've seen before, that pretty much minimizes any advantage that we can play with the wind. So be paying attention to that. If they go off in 3s from both tees, you don't need to factor in the wind near as much. If they go off in the 2s, I will be targeting the guys that go off early. Okay? Something to consider. And if you go look, because always look for 2 sources, as you can see, tomorrow, according to Willie Weather, it seems to support the same thing. Pretty moderate all day, picks up in the afternoon, into the evening when all those guys will be finishing. So that's what we'll be looking at. All right, we're going to go look at Fantasy National. They don't have round 3 salaries up because they suck and they never have anything up, but at least they have the live leaderboard going, so we'll be using that just because I can mark players and have the guys highlighted I want to talk about. Something real quick to just go search for. I've told you to do this before. Go look at guys who have been scoring well on round 3s for, say, the past, I'm going to do like 12 rounds. And the reason I don't do a larger sample size is because I don't want to be drawing numbers from tournaments 6 years ago. I don't care. I just want to see who's been scoring. And right there, I don't know. We're going to talk a lot about Cam Smith. I have him everywhere in my week long. I legit have him in 75% of my lineups. I don't see how you don't play him. He's just killing it out there, and he can't make a putt. And if there's one guy I know that can get his putting going, it's Cam Smith. And ironically, who's number 2 in round 3 scoring? Old Sugar Shane Lowry. And if I probably am not going to play Cam Smith just because he's so alive in all of my week-long contests that I don't want to mush him by playing him in all my Showdown tomorrow. But at the same time, I'll probably play Shane Lowry in every single lineup tomorrow. I know I don't give picks, but people have been enjoying that I usually give one pick. So I would say if there's one guy I'm definitely playing tomorrow, it would be Shane Lowry because he plays well in round 3s over a pretty large sample the last 12 tournaments. Which to me tells me they're the kind of guy that it's Saturday, it's moving day, they're going to go attack. And I want those guys. And Shane Lowry is all the way back to 41st. So not only did he not play well today, not only will he be going off early tomorrow, but historically he does great in round 3s. Shane Lowry to me is just kind of the exact kind of guy I would want to target in round 3 Showdown. Make your own fucking picks. I'll say that every time. No, I will not sell you my picks. I get at least a message a day asking if I'll sell my picks. No, I'm not a tout. Okay, so what you want to look for here is, like, of course the good players are going to score better on round threes, but like Kevin Streelman? What? Kevin Streelman's a good round 3 scorer? That's so weird. Like, why is Kevin Streelman good? And if you don't believe the stats, you should always go look at him. Let's go make sure this Kevin Streelman guy, what's going on here? I mean, over his last, look at that. So in the last 12 times, and these are all 21 and 22, so these are all very new relevant stats. The last 12 round threes he's played, he has gained DK points in 10 of those 12. That's like that's more than a fluke, right? That's a pretty good sample size to draw that from. And in 3 of those times, he smashed it, like got well above average. So, you know, that's what I'm looking for in these round 3 guys. Who are some rando slappies? Tom Hoagie, guys like that you know, don't play Daniel Berger, because he's only on here because, once again, I'm using round 2 because Fantasy National never has their shit up, even though the salaries have been out for like 7 hours. Okay, I got a whole bunch of guys started I want to talk about here. The first thing, when I was making all this in my head and doing my pre-production, I was thinking to myself, hey, play the early guys. But the more I've thought about it with the potential weather tomorrow, and I won't know this until after I've already put this video on, and my ass is driving up I-44 to Tulsa to go chill at my Airbnb and get ready for a big weekend at the actual course itself, I won't know. I won't know if they are going to put them off in 3s. But if they are putting them off in 2s, I'm going to implore you to play the guys that go off early. Why? Well, I already told you they're going to have softer wind conditions, or softer weather conditions with the soft greens. They're going to have less wind, but most importantly, they're going to have less ownership. And when you play Showdown, you want less ownership. You can play Willie Z. I know these salaries aren't accurate, but I'm assuming they're going to be relatively close between round 2 and round 3. Willie Z will probably be like 9,000 tomorrow. Whereas you could go play somebody like I don't know, Shane Lowry, just because I've already talked about him. And he's going to be probably within 500 of Will Zalatoris. And Will Zalatoris will legit be no less than 3 times more owned than Shane Lowry. But there's no position points tomorrow, so who gives a shit where they start? We just want simply who's going to get more birdies. Is it going to be the guy in first who has to sleep on a 36-hole lead at a major, who may be a little nervous and is luck sacking his way around the course and make every putt, even though he's a terrible putter? That's the guy you want to count on? Or Sugar Shane, who already has a major, he's rich as shit and doesn't care if he goes and shoots a 76 tomorrow, he's going to fire at every flag. Because he's not there to just like get a min cash. He's going to go try to shoot up the leaderboard, or he's just going to fall straight down it and he doesn't care. So that's why you want to play guys lower down the leaderboard, especially if they're going off in 2s. That is probably the biggest thing I could give you. Something else to consider is think about guys that were in the bad draw. We've already talked about that there was a 2-shot difference in the guys who had the PM AM. So the guys that went off yesterday afternoon and played this morning. Those guys played really tough conditions, a full 2 shots tougher than the guys who went AM and then played PM today. So if their stats, when we're looking at these stats, of course these stats are going to favor Will Zalatoris and Mito and those guys because, you know, if you go sort by ball striking, almost every single one of these guys, let me find the first one. Looks like Gooch would be the very first one on here. So the top, what is that, 8 or 9 guys in ball striking all came from the AM PM wave. But that's misleading because they didn't really play the same course. So a guy like Taylor Gooch, being that incredible ball striking, being on the bad wave, is a great kind of guy to target here. So be looking for those guys that were on the shitty end of the draw, but still managed to put up good ball striking numbers, still managed to have good approach numbers, still managed to, you know, have a chance to score. Maybe they didn't score that well. Maybe they made a bunch of pars, but they lost 3.5 strokes putting. Those are the kind of guys I'm going to target. So we got guys that go off early. We got guys that got the bad draw. And then I also want to target guys that are coming off bad rounds. I would have bet my kidney today that Rory McIlroy was going to have a bad round. Rory always seems to follow up a great round with a terrible round. And he was just pretty average today. And so what's going to happen tomorrow? Rory's going to bounce back and kill it. And no one's going to want to play him because they're going to see, oh, he just had this, you know, when I say nobody, he'll still probably be like 15 to 18% owned, but he will be a reasonable ownership for the upside that he will provide. So if I'm playing somebody who's going out early tomorrow, and if you sort by position, you'll have a pretty good idea who's going off early, or going out late. If I'm going to play somebody going out late, I'm going to play Rory. Why? Because he played terrible today, and his ball striking numbers are still really good, and he's going to probably go out there. He's just like, you know, Rory always has 2 good rounds and 2 shitty rounds, so we got a pretty good shot that tomorrow's going to be a good round. We're going to get him in a discount ownership. So that's who, if I'm playing somebody up there, I'm playing Rory. Who am I definitely not playing? Well, I'm not playing Scotty Scheffler because he missed the fucking cut. I'm not playing Justin Thomas. 2 reasons for me. And once again, just because I'm not playing him, that doesn't mean he's not a good play, right? I played Dustin Johnson this week and week long. I never played Dustin Johnson. I hate Dustin Johnson. Dustin Johnson sucked, but I played him because nobody wanted to play him, and I was just playing straight leverage. That was all I was doing in week long. But Justin Thomas, I have him in so many of my week long lineups. And, last time Justin Thomas played in really tough conditions, what was that? It was at the Players, I believe, where he went out and he was like on the top of the leaderboard, even though he'd get the really shitty draw. And everybody's like, oh, he cannot do bad because he did good in tough conditions. And he went out Saturday and Sunday and just kind of like dicked around. So that whole he can't miss because he's already played well in the tough conditions. And then you factor in his price tag and you factor in his higher ownership because of where he's at on the leaderboard and that he played well today. I just am not interested in Justin Thomas because I guarantee at almost the exact same price, I could go get Collin Morikawa. And there is nobody going to play Collin Morikawa tomorrow. And I would just ask you one simple question. Why? Why? Because he's T64? Because he just snuck inside the cut line? Pretty sure there was a guy named Xander Schauffele who just snuck inside the cut line last week and then just went absolutely roasted Saturday and Sunday and won all the monies on Showdown. So I don't think that's a good reason to discount him. Furthermore, Collin Morikawa is rich as shit. He don't care. He's going to be out there firing at flags. He's going to be going off early. He's coming off 2 very mediocre rounds where he hasn't made a single putt. If you don't think Collin Morikawa could go shoot a 5 under tomorrow, you just don't know Collin Morikawa. Am I telling you he's going to do that? I don't fucking know. I'm saying he definitely could, and he will be legit 8%, 8 to 10% owned, whereas Thomas will probably be 25 to 30% owned. I'll make the same deal I always make with you. If you think that Justin Thomas is 3 times more likely to outscore Collin Morikawa tomorrow when it comes to just straight DraftKings points, send me a DM on Twitter at the Degenerate75, and I will wager as much money as you'll let me. If you'll give me 3-1, hit me up on that. Another guy, Spieth. Man, I just think Spieth. I just know this guy. Anytime he's just kind of got his tire stuck in the mud and he just doesn't seem to get going. He's right in that kind of Goldilocks zone. He didn't play particularly well today. He'll probably get a slightly earlier tee time tomorrow, assuming they go off in 2s. Remember, the difference between going off in 3s, where they almost all go off within 2 hours, or going off in 2s over a 6-hour period. So he'll get an earlier tee time, and he is just due to light one up. The guy that I would say is just most poised to kill it tomorrow is Cam Smith. Everybody's going to say that. If you watched it today, they showed him missing putt after putt after putt. And Cam Smith, through 2 rounds, has gained 7.7 strokes ball striking and can't chip and putt. If you know Cam Smith, he is one of the best putters and chippers in the world. And it will find its balance. And if he just keeps ball striking like that, I mean, that guy, it wouldn't surprise me if he still wins this tournament. Once again, I'm probably not going to play him in Showdown because I have, as you've already seen, a ton of him in week long. And, if he goes out and smashes tomorrow, yeah, it'll probably kill my Showdown lineups, but I'll make up for that on the week long back end. Other guys to consider. All right, I'm going to close this here. Now, just some guys that I had starred for whatever reason. They caught my eye. Hideki's going to be another guy just like Morikawa. Why aren't you going to want to play him? Because he's T64? Because he just snuck in the cut line? Because he hasn't really looked that great? I mean, he's picking up 3.9 strokes approach. I mean, that's incredible. Like, he's sticking it. Yeah, he can't putt, but Hideki can never putt. Now, if I know they're going to have soft greens tomorrow where Hideki can throw those darts, I'm in on that. We've already talked about Shane. Here's one I'll warn you of. Brooks Koepka. He does check that box of somebody who played on the tough wave. He shot a -3 today, which blew my mind. I cannot believe Brooks Koepka was actually a champion and fought back for a cut one time for me. But he did. But he kind of luck-sacked it with the putter. He is going to probably be a little higher owned because people will see, ooh, Brooks started getting it together. It's a major. He's going to play him. So I would actually warn you that Brooks Koepka might not be as good of a play, even though it seemed like he had a great round today, even though it seems like he'll be going off early tomorrow, and he is on the bad side of the draw. He seems to check those boxes, but when you look at his stats, I don't know. He's kind of luck-sacking it with the putter, and his putter hasn't been that strong this year. But if you do want to know a guy that did really play tremendously well today. I mean, he just seems so under control. Every time they were showing him, it was either a 9-foot birdie putt or a 2-foot tap in for par was Matthew Fitzpatrick. He just seemed very under control. Yes, I know he gained a lot of his strokes around the green and putting, but that's kind of what Matthew Fitzpatrick does. And he's going to be starting a little later in the day, but if they go off in 3s, I'm not caring too much about that. I'm just going to like Matthew Fitzpatrick for being a grinder. And so because of that, I would be interested in him. One I would warn you about, remember, just because I have these guys starred doesn't mean shit. That just reminded me to talk about them. It doesn't mean I'm playing them or not playing them. because Joaquin Niemann, if you watched him at all today, and I was watching a lot of him, that dude is a luck sacker. I mean, like, I've never seen a guy hit so many lucky shots and get so many lucky bounces and pick up 5 strokes putting. Joaquin Niemann putts like me. If me and Helen Keller had a baby, it would be Joaquin Niemann. Just terrible. So if you want to bet on that to continue to happen, go right on ahead. But because he's Joaquin Niemann, so a lot of people already have him in week long, so they're already watching him and saying, oh, he's doing me good. He's 1 under. They're going to play him. He's going to be in a reasonable price tag. And he's on TV all the time. And I promise you, people care about that shit. So I'm not playing him. Just because he's not clicking in the right areas I want to see him clicking on. With somebody who is, Cam Young. A lot of these guys I have clicked are simply because their ball striking are not rolling in a lot of putts. You know, that would be Cam Young, Tony Finau, and Gooch, guys like that. But, you know, and all of those are great plays. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of those. I know there's like 27 names on here, and I'm literally giving you one of them, which is Lowry. These other ones are worth talking about. But here's the kind of guy that wins you a showdown. Louis Oosthuizen will be if he's over 4% owned, I would be shocked tomorrow. You're getting a guy that's a world-class talent when he's on, when he's interested. It's a Saturday, and Louis loves to move up a leaderboard on a Saturday. He's going to be T64, so he'll be going out early if they go out in 2s. And he's not putting well. And if you don't know, Louis can roll the rock. So I'm kind of interested in Louis. Actually, I'm a lot interested in Louis. One to watch out for, HV3. I think HV3 is ball striking it well, and he was on TV a lot today, and he's not making any putts, so most of the novices in Showdown will be like, oh, he's not putting. That'll get figured out. No, not necessarily. HV3 is not a great putter. What I would be concerned about is how he's picked up 4 strokes around the green. That's like a lot. That's like chipping in multiple times to pick up that many strokes around the green. Here's just a rando one for you to just let you know that you don't just always look at the stats, right? So, you know, you'd look at Maverick McNeely, you'd say, oh, he's not really ball striking. He's just average on the field. And, oh, he only made the cut because he picked up almost 5 strokes putting. But like Maverick McNeely, what I really see, which sticks out to me, because Maverick McNeely has it in him to continue putting like that, is the minus 3.8 around the green. Maverick McNeely is somebody that will be 1.5% owned in Showdown tomorrow. And if you've been watching him so far in 2022, you'll know that Maverick McNeely can get hot. He's T64, so if they're going out in 2s, he'll be going off early. He'll be out there on the course first thing, throwing darts when it's nice and lightly warm, and the greens are very soft and receptive, and Maverick McNeely can roll the rock when the greens are going to be fast, because they kept talking about slow greens today. They'll be faster tomorrow. On that same note, if you're wanting guys who can putt, you got to love Denny McCarthy. And because Denny McCarthy, I don't believe he was even in the week-long field because he got added so long when Bryson withdrew himself, that I don't think anybody played him in week-long because they couldn't. And so when people don't play guys in week-long, they're totally off their minds and off their radar. So Denny McCarthy might be a super sneaky play tomorrow to go shooting up the leaderboard. I'll be the first to tell you, I'm a sucker for Siwoo Kim. Those approach numbers are incredible. His putting is atrocious, but every time I do this in Showdown, he seems to let me down. So be careful just chasing his approach numbers. My boy Tom Hoge, he's out there struggling today, but that's why you should play him. Tom Hoge is a perfect one of those guys who let everybody down today, and now everyone's going to think he sucks, and he has all the ability in him to go out and fire a great round tomorrow. He just didn't play well today. And if you don't know, professional golfers can have a bad 18 holes and they can bounce back the next day. So don't overreact to that. Don't be like all those other people and overreact to a single round. Use that to your advantage and jump right back on it. Shane Lowry did not play well today. I'm all over that tomorrow. Some other guys here, just because they can get, guys that are all down, that are going off very late, is why I have most of these guys started down here. We've already seen Kevin Strillman is really good at round 3 scoring. He is ball striking, but at the same time, he's Kevin Strillman. So, I'm just giving you names to consider, names to go do a little deeper dive on. This is supposed to be, a 20-minute video to help you just narrow everything down so you know what to do. But you make your own picks. You do your own research. I'm just trying to, make this a 1-hour process for you as opposed to a 4-hour process. Thomas Peters is ball striking. He can get wicked hot. Bernd Wiesberger was on the shitty draw and is still in 18th place, so you gotta like that. He's ball striking and he's putting, so old Bernd, he's checking some boxes. Killer Keith Mitchell, once again, ball striking, not putting. He's not a great bent grass putter, but, if he's out there early, he can throw some darts. Watch out. Make sure Brian Harmon makes the cut because, you know, the cut's not even official yet, and he's sitting right on the cut line, but he's not putting. He can putt. And then same with Hadwin, same with Hickok. But then here was one I just found randomly. Sean Norris. There's a name that won't even be 1% owned. He's out there putting a little bit. You know, he's above average putting, and he's ball striking it pretty well. So these are just some names to consider down here. Names to fade. Like, there's just no way that I think you should play Showdown tomorrow and play Will Zalatoris or Mito Pereira or, let's see, hold on. I can just go ahead and tell you who's going to be the highest owned. Justin Thomas. Definitely don't play Bubba. If you go play Bubba tomorrow, you're just like, I don't know. You're just that's just chasing bad. That's taking good money and chasing bad money. Bubba won't last. What do I have to base that on? Nothing. I just a lifetime of watching and betting Bubba. That's what. Just how I told you Xander would backdoor a top 10 last week or a top 5, whatever I said. I'm telling you, Bubba will suck ass tomorrow. You're welcome. These guys up here at the top of the leaderboard are going to be completely overowned. And please remember one thing. Saturday Showdown does not have position points, so it doesn't matter where they start. The only time it really matters where they start is if they're going off in twos, and then you want to avoid the guys that start later because they're probably going to catch more dry greens and winds in the afternoon, whereas the guys that go off in the morning are going to have soft, receptive greens. But other than that, they're all equal. Hideki and Justin Thomas have almost exactly the same chance at scoring DraftKings points tomorrow, but Hideki will be 8% owned, and Thomas will be 28% owned, I would bet. These are things to consider. It's all a game of leverage, guys. I hope I'm teaching you that by now. Please go like this video. Go subscribe. Go leave a comment, too. I'd appreciate that. I will be in Tulsa tomorrow. DraftKings came through with a very clutch VIP tickets. So I actually have a free ticket. If you're going to be in Tulsa tomorrow, I have a ticket I will sell to you for super cheap. It's the one I originally bought a year ago. So just let me know. I appreciate you guys listening. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get up to 1,000. I need this money for the Open Championship. Let's go get back that money that we are losing at week long, and let's get it at Showdown just like we have the last 2 weekends. We'll see you next time, guys.